Yeah, Mark Levin on the investigation of Hunter Biden. Now, I'm curious. This is Mark Levin on Fox and Friends. Now, I'm curious if he does the tap dance language about the laptop, and only time they talk about the confirmation of it is when they bring up the Washington Post and the New York Times, but they don't say it themselves because they know they haven't verified it, and they know nobody's actually verified it, and they know those stories are bullshit, but they can lay that off on the other organizations, and then they'll use stuff that's in the tax case against him, which A, I don't give a fuck, but B, apparently he's paid $1 million in back taxes. Whatever. Had to take a loan out to do it. I don't care. But let's see, there's probably an ad. Hold on. Oh, it's for Stars or something. I don't know what this is, but I'm Gaslit. Okay. Oh, it's a series. That's interesting. Okay, whoops. Why is the sound off?
Because it is something that's finally coming out, and that is acknowledgement by the mainstream media that the laptop from hell is real. And
no, it isn't. Just for the record, I just feel the need to start in on this right away. There is no laptop. It's not real. And they did not acknowledge that it was real. And their story has been falling apart. By the way, in relation, if I may, couple of things happened that were a lot of fun. Let me see if I can grab this real quick. This is one of those things where shit goes back. Give me a moment. Finding. Oh, where the fuck is it? Oh, by the way, this douchebag blocked me. The guy who was like, "Hell, what intelligence community organization were you a part of?" He used to be in the NSA. I love this picture, by the way. Just hi there, secret agent man. Imagine that I have scotch. Where are we? Scrolling. I talk about so much shit. It's so funny. We love Fred. There's Fred Gutenberg. I love when Fred replies to my stuff. Oh, this was the one where the guy who blocked me, you can't read what he said before. He's like, what IC community do you belong to? And I was like, yeah, that's where I brought up the fact that he works for the NSA. Where is it? Oh, it's gonna bug me now. All right. God damn it. Let's see. Just hang out. Just hang out for a bit. Say hi. Where are you from? Tell everybody where you're from in the chat room. Give me a second. Because this story was particularly funny. I have to do it up here. Mac Isaac. This one. This story. This is people have been sending this, and the Washington Post. Oh yeah, that's where it was. Hold on. What a Washington Post, you bastards! Hey, you bastards! Washington Post, Mac Isaac. All right, this is, yeah. Yeah, this shit. After I tear down the Washington Post article and fuck it into a cocked hat and did the interview that the guy McIsaac, who allegedly found it, did on Eric Bolling's show on Newsmax, where he's like, yeah, I know a lot of attempts to say that there was stuff in there that wasn't in there. I saw whatever, like, right. By the way, somebody was like, Snowden's a hero. Snowden's not a hero. Chelsea Manning's a hero. Reality Winner's a hero. Snowden always planned on ditching the U.S. and going to Russia and living a cush job. He didn't just take the documents talking about the systems that like PRISM and the like that were used. He took the keys to operate them with him. That's why he didn't go to Russia on a fucking, like, by accident. Poitras and Greenwald helped him get there. Yeah, it's a long story, but no. They're assets. Wrong. And they used people who are genuinely good whistleblowers for their own meanings, for their own worth. Yeah. I called this shit out. And they're finally, like, this is yesterday, this article comes out. Now, warning about Hunter Biden laptop disinfo, the guy who leaked it. These are the files. Big guy file, mail, salacious pics package. These were added to the hard drive after the fact. And by the way, the fact that they're UIing on a regular computer and we're not looking at the fucking metadata on this, and the fucking gall to show a picture of laptop, which is the name of the fucking hard drive, so that they can say, I have the laptop, because they named the hard drive laptop. Fuck you. These 3 folders were created after it was allegedly turned over to the FBI. And this is allegedly a picture from the hard drive that Maxey gave to the Washington Post that they did under the article title, how we audited the fucking Hunter Biden laptop. How could you call it laptop legally? Well, the hard drive is named laptop. Fuck you. Next story quickly turn. A new voice rose with questions about the validity of the material is alleged on Hunter Biden's laptop. The guy who received the data in the first place. Last month, the Washington Post was able to publish a report based on a copy of material that we obtained from a Republican activist named Jack Maxey, who'd gotten it from Giuliani. He's not an activist. He works on Steve Bannon's podcast. Activist. He didn't fucking march for voters' rights. I don't know. Maybe he had a tiki torch at Charlotte. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Fuck off. We had multiple experts examine the contents of a hard drive that purported to contain the laptop's contents, validating tens of thousands of emails as likely to be legitimate. Motherfucker. This just gets so watered down the more they talk about it. Purported to be, purported to contain, fucking hell. Purported to contain contents validating tens of thousands of emails as likely to be legitimate. That's not validation. That's coming to the conclusion. That's not validating. The word validating does not belong there. Reporter people, journalism classes of the future who will be watching my videos because I was the only motherfucker loud enough about this. When you're watching this in the future in your how to live stream like a bastard video class, you can't validate something that's likely. That's in the same sentence. You're a jackass. But an enormous amount of the material on the drive couldn't be validated as legitimate, in part because of the game of telephone that the material had undergone by the time it reached us. It wasn't a game of telephone, motherfucker. Political adversaries of the person, of the father of the person it was alleged to belong to, purchased it in Ukraine from Russians, brought it back, and fucking planted it. That's not a game of telephone. That the material had undergone. The report notes that efforts to obtain the material in 2020 were rebuffed. Yeah, that's because they weren't done filling it with bullshit. And they looked at what had initially been put on there and go like, this will never do the job. Now that he's won the election, we're going to have to put shit on the hard drive that will get him impeached. We have to make shit up. The stuff we made up that was supposed to stop him from getting elected wasn't enough. People saw it. Nobody gave a rat fuck that his crack-addicted son was palling around with hookers and smoking cigarettes in the bathtub. Nobody gave a fuck. And nor should they. So like, shit, well now that didn't work. So let's just add shit. When? Now. Keep adding shit. People won't give a shit. People are dumb. Trust me. I can get the Washington Post and the New York Times to both call this hard drive a fucking, the laptop by naming it laptop. Hal having laptop meltdowns is always gold. Thank you, Peter. Because I'm the only one. Oh, God, it's frustrating. The experts found the data had been repeatedly accessed and copied by people other than Hunter Biden over nearly 3 years. I mean, I love that. That's our report explained. Your report buried at the bottom of the fucking article under a lying headline. Our report explained. For example, one expert likened it to a crime scene that was littered with fast food wrappers thanks to the first police who'd arrived at the scene. No, it was not littered with fast food wrappers unless the person was fucking murdered with fast food wrappers. The equivalent analogy is that you came in and all the cops had touched the gun that was laying on the ground and thrown their guns, which were the exact same model, on the ground. And when we finally got to trial, instead of bringing the actual gun, which was sorted out from the other guns, we hope, they brought a 3D printed model of the gun that was that had the word smoking written on it. God damn, these people are fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I'm named after a computer. This drives me nuts. Let's go.
Now we have watchdog groups that are saying, hey, we also need to look at UPenn, which has the Biden Center.
The Biden Center, where they're fighting fucking cancer. Hold on. This is, by the way, this is the Biden Center. Penn Biden Center. Strengthening American global leadership for the future. It's been around for a while, but it bared the president's name before he was the president. Unlike the Trump Stake Center. Hold on. Does Mark always wear the same clothes? Farron Cousins balancing used to actually started covering yesterday. I bet he's seen Hal's coverage. Oh, Farron Cousins actually started covering this yesterday. I bet he's seen Hal's. Well, tell him if I can give me a fucking. People need to start recognizing that I pointed this out in deference to other people. All right. Advancing the dialogue on internationalism, addressing threats to the liberal international order, engaging a new generation, aftershocks, the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you, Penn Biden Center, proposed toast, refugee admissions project. Now we know. It had to be something. Had to be something. There was one thing that, like, I'm sure there was something about the Biden Center besides his name that was good, that would drive them crazy. And there you have it.
And there were some anonymous donations from China. We need to look at that.
And well, if they're anonymous donations, who cares? And by the way, they weren't to the Biden Center. They were to UPenn. Why is it assumed that they went to the Biden Center? What if it was to UPenn's medical labs? What if they created a gain of function?
Well, you know, where is the FBI? I mean, where is the forensic audit on the Biden family and the fact that we now know through
the forensic audit on the Biden family? I don't know. Is Quincy an accountant now?
Those emails, Mark, that Hunter Biden was paying his father's bills. None of us here have kids who pay our bills. There's obviously smoke here. Why is it taking so long for even these kinds of financial audits to happen?
By the way, no, there isn't. Why is it taking so long for them to do a financial audit? Because they already have his fucking taxes. They already know the deeds to the property that he owns. Everything matches. There is no slush fund account. Nothing showed up in the fucking Panama Papers. Thank you, Ms. Taki.
Because Joe Biden's a Democrat. Now, the bottom line is this.
Like, yeah, because they don't go after the Democrats for crimes they haven't committed.
You look at the laptop from hell being Hunter Biden. You look at that laptop.
Hell being Hunter Biden. I think that was supposed to be a zinger. Also, no, there is no, yes, by the way, you know what? I was about to say something wrong. Mark, yes, you look at the Hunter Biden laptop. Please. I would like to look at it. Everyone should look at the Hunter Biden laptop, not a hard drive called laptop, like a man called horse. Ladies, you'll be disappointed. There is no, you can't create a laptop out of a hard drive just by changing the fucking name.
There are multiple mentions of Joe Biden. There's multiple mentions of the commingling of finances. There's multiple.
Yes. If you were a Russian agent concocting fake compromise on someone to help another politician get elected, you would probably put shit in that you had been helping manufacture it for years on that hard drive. There would be multiple mentions of it. You know what? You know what, Mark Levin? On the original Hunter Biden laptop hard drive, the one that's still in the machine itself, I don't know if you know this, but there are naked pictures of you and several sheep. And I know for a fact that since you, in the videos that accompany them, and the fact that you refer to them as Dolly, one of them, the clone, I guess, would be underage. It's on the original one. You look at it. As soon as you see the Hunter Biden laptop, you'll see what I mean.
Mentions of him getting a cut of the action. We have an eyewitness to that effect, Bob Alinsky.
No, you don't. You have somebody who got kicked out of the company. Who's got an axe to grind and can make money traipsing around going, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally is not evidence. Neither is the hard drive.
Who is a serious person and a serious witness. We have him complaining to his daughter about 50% of his salary is basically going to his father, that he paid for some things for his father.
Yeah, shutters on the lake house. Shutters. Shutters. Fucking shutters. Honest to God. It's like Norman Rockwell tried to paint a scandal and failed.
Meanwhile, we have Democrats investigating Donald Trump, the DA in Manhattan, the Attorney General in...
Well, in deference to them, he is a criminal who brags about his criminality and not just his sexual assaults.
New York, who should be disbarred in my view.
Yes, I beg your pardon. Carol points this out in the chat room. I'm very sorry. The palatial lake house, which has all of, I believe, 3 bedrooms. It's the Palace of Delaware.
We have this rogue January 6th committee. You asked where the FBI is. They proudly keep announcing that they've applied more resources than any time in American history to.
Well, first of all, a lot of those resources, or the ability to gain those resources, didn't exist even 30 years ago. When we talk about like the number of videos, for example, that like nobody, this might shock you, Mark Levin, but the War of 1812 was not live streamed, and the facilities at NORAD had not been built, and so therefore
chasing down misdemeanors, people who are trespassing, and people who are parading on government property. That's like chasing down people who are jaywalking. Go for the.
No, it isn't. Jaywalking is not trespassing. Also, if while you're jaywalking, you beat up a crossing guard with a sign that says, "I love crossing guards," and then try to steal their stop sign that they use to keep traffic from running over kids and beat them with that as well, fuck you, you're going to jail.
Violent people. Do you really need the entirety of the FBI to go after violent people on a journey? Of course not. But this is the narrative.
Well, they don't use the entirety of the FBI going after those folks. They have a specific task force, field agents that are on that stuff, but they're doing a bunch of other shit right now. For all the right-wing FBI haters out there, my uncle is retired FBI. And let's see. Why is this not? Okay, go find filter. Okay. Newest. What I got to do here? Filter. Let's see, 2019. Let's see. I want to do here. Yeah. So here's what the. Now there might be elements of this that fall under what the FBI is doing, but just in case, Mark Levin, who has I believe that's an American flag, Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, his Trump cookie jar, some pictures, some fake books, and some those are fake bricks. Those aren't real bricks, but it gives the illusion of bricks, because bricks are salt of the earth people stack bricks. Here's what the FBI, they go after terrorism. They do counterintelligence against internalized threats. They deal with cybercrime, public corruption, which is the part that makes Levin's friends nervous, civil rights, organized crime, and more. White-collar crime, violent crime, weapons of mass destruction inside there. Transnational organized crime. The El Chapos of the world, once they get in the country. Yeah, they're on that. So, let's see. News. So here's what's currently going on at the FBI. This is the top stories on the FBI's site. If you want to know what they're up to right now, at least as far as what they're pointing to, it's probably all Jan 6. It's probably all nonstop Jan 6. They're just chasing down Americans and teachers, of course. Parents for just being parents. Major actions to disrupt and prosecute Russian criminal activity. Farmers agents convicted in crop insurance program fraud scheme in Kentucky. Oh, now I know why Mitch McConnell was all mad. Inside the FBI podcast, top 10 fugitive Yulan Adonai Archaga Karayas. So they do a podcast about this. They helped with the catching of the Brooklyn mass shooting. Colombian fugitive wanted for murder arrested in Massachusetts after 27 years on the run. They got that guy. Off-duty police officer found guilty by jury of felony charges for actions related to Capitol breach. There's Jan 6. He's third on the list. Leader of North Carolina chapter of Proud Boys pleads guilty to conspiracy assault charges on Jan 6. This is the Jan 6. There you go. Capitol violence. That's one of the things. FBI urges vigilance during COVID-19. What else? And there you go. Featured video. Victim of romance scam tells her story. The victim of a romance scam describes how she was duped out of $2 million by an online suitor she has never met. That was some good cyber sex. I'm just saying it had to be. It had to be. James A. Taraska named special agent in charge of the Detroit field office. Good for you, James. FBI State Department announced $5 million reward for the fugitive Semyon Milogovich. Justice Department announces court-authorized disruption of botnet controlled by the Russian Federation's main intelligence directorate. So they've been authorized by the court to do a proactive cyber attack of a botnet. But they're just torturing Jan 6ers. That's really what they're doing. Let's be honest.
This is the push. This is the same FBI that tried to take out President.
Totally. This is it. Honestly. I'm so enraged. I can't sit still.
Trump. That thing needs to be fumigated. It needs to be cleared from top to bottom. Unfortunately, when I was Chief of Staff to Attorney General Meese, we had the greatest pride in that institution. I have no reliance whatsoever in that institution anymore.
Whatsoever. No reliance whatsoever. Everybody fumigated from top to bottom. All the field agents need to be killed. What happens when you fumigate something? Oh, all the insects die.
It's the corruption of the media. It's the corruption of Washington. And
yeah, it's almost as if I am legend.
It's the corruption of the Democrat Party that was behind the Russia collusion fake disaster, as that was.
It
wasn't a fake disaster. It was a real disaster.
Joe Biden compromised, Mark?
Is Joe Biden compromised? You haven't spoken to the man in 15 years, and he wouldn't talk to you now because you're a total pig. But and you're an apologist for Trump's pussy grabbing bullshit. So, but is he? You don't know anything about this. Tell us more about it.
Well, I think he is. I also think he's corrupt. You're looking at a.
Well, you can't be both. If he's either corrupt or compromised. If you're compromised, you're basically being blackmailed. So you're a good person being made to do bad things by some sort of controlling force. That's not a corrupt person. If you're corrupt, you're doing it willingly. So yeah, make up your fucking mind.
At least $13.5 million that went to the Biden family. And if you look at it,
$13.5 million. Trump got 15 or 17 just for scuttling TPP.
Probably much more than that from foreign governments.
Javanka made $2 billion fucking dollars. All right. Before committing $2 billion to Mr. Kushner's fledgling firm, it was barely out of the nest. Of course, the nest at the time was the White House. Hell of a nest. Officials at a fund led by Saudi Crown Prince questioned taking such a big risk. $2 billion is a big risk for the Saudis? Might be that my theory that they are cash poor and running out of oil might be true. 6 months after leaving the White House, Jared Kushner secured a $2 billion investment from a fund led by the Saudi Crown Prince. It's a little fund called Wood Chipper LLC. A close ally during the Trump administration advised objectives for the fund. A panel that screens investments. He had to give. People didn't like the idea, but they got $2 billion. That was the bill came due. A panel that screens investments for the main Saudi sovereign wealth fund cited concerns about the proposed deal with Mr. Kushner's newly formed private equity firm, Affinity Partners. That's so it's first in the phone book when you're looking up hedge funds. Just start it with an A. A+ was already taken. I think that's Ashton Kutcher's firm. Previously undisclosed documents show. Those objections included the inexperience of the Affinity Fund management. Now we know where all the Hunter Biden doesn't know anything about energy. How did he get such a lucrative job? We're not going to hear that about Jared? No? We're not going to hear those same complaints that didn't. The possibility that the kingdom would be responsible for the bulk of the investment and risk, due diligence of the fledgling firm's operation found them unsatisfactory in all aspects. From Mr. Kushner's prior role as a senior advisor to his father-in-law, former President Donald J. Trump, according to the minutes of the panel's meeting last June. Public relations risks, you'd think. But days later, the full board of the $620 billion public investment fund, led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler and beneficiary of Mr. Kushner's support when he worked as a White House advisor, overruled the panel. Oh, you gotta love monarchies. Panel schmanel, do what I say. Ethics experts say that such a deal creates the appearance of a potential payback for Mr. Kushner's actions in the White House. This is cynical. This is just cynicism. I won't stand for it. Or a bid for future favor if Mr. Trump seeks and wins another president. Why can't it be both? Mr. Kushner played a leading role inside the Trump administration defending Crown Prince Mohammed after U.S. intelligence agencies concluded he had proved the 218 killing and dismemberment of Jamal Khashoggi. You're not going to get a billion for that kind of grind up. It's $2 billion. That's the price. That's it. That is the current, in case you want wondering what is the current price to get away with and have the full tacit support of the presidential administration, Republican presidential administration. But it's a Democrat, you're going to have a harder time. It's good. Apparently, Joe Biden has a way cheaper date. That's the art of the deal, baby. $2 billion is going to be how much it costs you. Resident of Virginia would criticize the kingdom's rulers. There you go. There's Jared and him. Socially distancing, but financially coupled. I'm sure he'll bring that up.
Front groups from the, it's absolutely shocking. This Washington Post piece last week was a joke. They basically pulled the information from the Grassley-Johnson report and pulled the information from the laptop that was already publicly available through the New York Post and other entities. And in the
not from the laptop. It's all bullshit. Just saying.
This paragraph, they said there's no evidence linking Joe Biden to anything. Now, do you think
right.
Donald Trump would get a pass like that? Of course not.
Well, what were they fucking supposed to do, Mark? Add the compromising material proving a scheme that didn't exist on their own? Look, if Giuliani is that big a fuck up, putting him in charge of manufacturing evidence was a bad choice. Fish stinks from the head. Trump's a fuck up and he hires fuck ups. Next time, ask me, and I'm sure I could hook you up with some people who are excellent at Photoshop, who can, and who can craft some really strong, I mean, nothing's perfect, but some really strong fake metadata. Give me a good run at it. Give me 3 years. I need a hacked phone, and I need access to 3 company servers so I can send compromising emails from them that are legit, so you can track those. The responses we can make up, because the assumption will be is if they came in real, whatever was going out was also real. And by the time everybody wakes up to the fact that it's a lie, it's too late, damage is done, and our candidate is already in office. Mark, hey, man. You think he's buying it? I don't think he's buying it.
60 Minutes, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, they should be barking at the top of their lungs at investigation. I've been calling for a special counsel now.
They should be barking at the... okay. Would you want to meet me at the hockey game at 7? Ethan is giving me 2 tickets. Yes. Where do I go? Summer was trying to FaceTime me a little bit ago, and I didn't know what it was about. I thought she was just checking to see if I was done.
For a long time.
It's a hockey game at 7, and Ethan's filming it, so I'm going to a hockey game. I'm going late anyway, so as soon as I finish this up, I'm changing into my hockey gear.
And the reason's quite simple. Meritless Garland is incapable
Meritless Garden.
capable of conducting an investigation of this. This is why the special counsel exists in the first place. They had.
Barbara asks, where did Rudy get the $3/5 million to buy the original fake laptop? The thought is that it was Trump campaign money that he was going to go over there and bribe Zelensky with, but nobody believed he was going to take it, so he decided to use that money to buy the hard drive. The other chance is that it came from the Chinese dissident billionaire who's, super dissident, who works with Steve Bannon.
No basis whatsoever for appointing a special counsel against Trump. Trump hadn't done anything, and he wasn't really.
Well, if you're talking about his presidential record, I agree. I mean, the judges that he got, appointed, that was kind of perfunctory baseline shit. And the list was given to him by the Heritage Foundation. And the tax cut was drafted by the Republicans. Had been sitting there waiting for a Republican signature. He would have done it anyways. Everything else, he didn't do shit.
Accused of doing anything when you look at the accusations. Here, I don't know how you miss it. It's in the newspapers, at least some of them.
Yeah, it's in the newspapers. So the shit that people were saying in newspapers about Trump counts as evidence now too? Can we do that? Is that good? Fair game?
It's on our network. It's another place.
Yes, yeah, it's on your network. Your network's like, we can't verify the existence of the...
Since it's on the laptop, the incurious...
There is no laptop. Stop calling a hard drive labeled laptop a laptop. You fuck. I think that's the funniest thing of this whole shit. I mean, I love this. Where'd it go? I had that article open. That's just so funny. There were 3 laptops, by the way. Why isn't this laptop number 3? Or laptop number 2? Because one of them, they all had water damage. He was backing up all of them. First one didn't work. Second one needed a keyboard. He just gave it to him, even though he never gave it back to him. Installed one. Never got paid, I guess. The third one, why isn't this laptop number 3? That's fucking hilarious. Salacious pics package. I got a salacious package of pics for you.
Curiosity is really quite remarkable. And Merrick Garland is going to dig in. And, of course, the Democrats have not held a single hearing, not one, into Hunter Biden, his laptop, the communist...
Well, they can't. See, they haven't done one on Bigfoot either. So, priorities.
Chinese money.
Thank you,
Even
Jerry.
the Washington Post admits 4.8 million. 4.8 million went to the Biden family.
No, it didn't. Do you guys have any idea how investment firms work? You don't get to they don't just give you the fucking money. They give it to you to invest on their behalf. And if that makes money, you get a service fee, whether it makes or loses money. Which is a tiny fraction. But if it makes money, you get a percentage of it making money. That's the whole point. And so you find someone who's going to be a shepherd of your fucking money and do something with it. Meanwhile, again, Jared and fucking Ivanka, $2 billion, fucking billion with a B. Hold on, where'd that go? Get back here. I have so many look how many tabs. It's just terrible. I lost it. You guys saw it. The
$4.8 million from a communist Chinese front company went to the Biden family, and there was a great piece.
No, it didn't. Again, what the fuck do you mean the Biden family? Even Hunter Biden was fucking divorced at the time.
The Federalist the other day by a gentleman, and he said Biden hasn't released his tax returns. He's released his individual tax returns. But the vast majority of the money Biden has went through two S corporations that have not released their tax returns. Two S corporations that the media simply do not care about. $13 million, he calculates, went into these companies. And not
$13 million. Hold on. He calculates. You mean the dude who wrote the bullshit Biden? Okay. Biden S Corp money. Let's see. Celtic Capri and Giacoppa. These are the two. Okay, here you go. Joe Biden used this strategy to trim his tax bill. You can too. This is from CNBC. Hi. The former vice president and his wife report close to $10 million in income in 2017 from their two S corporations. So they reported it in 2017. And Giacoppa, the entities reported $3.2 million in income in 2018. So it went down. It's the corruption goes up, the cash goes down. S-Corp employees, shareholders can collect a salary, which is subject to payroll taxes. They can also receive distribution, which is deemed as tax-free reduction of basis. Business owners are subject to a self-employment tax of 12.4% for Social Security and 2.9% for Medicare. If you're an opportunity saver, consider borrowing a tax plan. The former vice president income is a presidential contender. His wife, Jill Biden, reported about 10 in 2070 for a pair of S corporations, Celtic Capri and Giacoppa. The two entities were paid for the couple's book deals and speaking gigs, which is all trackable. Here you go. There's this. Look, you click on that, it sends you to a donation link. The S Corps reported another $3.2 million in there. It goes back there again. That's hilarious. While both S Corps generate a lot of income, they paid out modest salaries in comparison. In 2017, two companies paid the couple a combined $245,000 in wages. This increased to $500,000 in 2018. That meant any amounts the Bidens received as distribution wasn't subject to the 15.3 Social Security Medicare tax. Here's how it works. S Corps pay their employees, shareholders in two wages and distributions. If you're someone who's, two ways to pay. Business owners can pay themselves a salary, which would be subject to self-employment tax. Can also take a distribution from the S Corp, which is tax-free, up to the shareholder's basis. That is the investor she has in the company. Here's an example of small example, generates $1 million in income. You decide to take $100,000 that in form of salary, report it at W-2. The remaining $900,000 reported your business is Schedule K-1, where it's deemed your share of the company's income. This shouldn't be interpreted as a free-for-all for entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is... Both S Corps have reported their earnings. They're not hidden. We know the names of them. CNBC was doing articles about them leading up to the election for years.
A single concern about releasing those taxes. Donald Trump came into office a multi-billionaire, and they're obsessed with his tax returns even now. We have people who come into office and become multi-millionaires or leave office and become multi-millionaires, and nobody cares about their taxes.
Well, sure they do. If they're going to run again. Also, it concerns us sometimes if they end up making money like in a revolving door job, for example, like many assume Kristen Sinema might do. That's when we care. The rest of the time, if you were president or secretary of state and you sell a goddamn book, something like, I don't care.
Absolutely, Mark. It's stunning. By the way, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan, but that first answer, all of them, but that first answer on immigration is probably the best articulation summary of what we're up against. You've been so generous.
Thanks, guys. They posted a clip, and at the tail end of this clip, he references a part of the conversation that's not in the clip. Great work, Fox. Yeah, whoever's doing your online editing is doing a bang-up job. By the way, in case you don't know, on my show, I just do the clips that are posted as they're posted. I do not add anything, and I, unless on the rare occasion that something's just boring and I fucking bail, I don't, I do the whole video.
With your time this morning, give us a preview of what's coming up on Life, Liberty, and Levin tonight.
Blather and bullshit.
Well, speaking of immigration, we give Stephen Miller a good half of the program, and he really is
Yeah, classy.
fantastic. And David Mamet, who was raised by effectively communists and is one of the greatest playwrights in American history. My second part of my interview with him, he just unleashes. I think the American people will enjoy it very much.
Why don't you, can we just play clips of Glengarry Glen Ross?
Great. We'll be watching Mark definitely for the second part.
No, we won't, actually. Don't give a shit.
Definitely.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything you guys do.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for everything you guys do. I mean, it's just the kind. This is the Fox and Friends. It's the deep, introspective part of the news that I appreciate. It's the kind of stuff that Russell Brand can only dream of doing one day.